Hey everybody, it's Joe with Joe Knows Cryptos, here with a Saturday afternoon edition. And I am doing this video for, I think it was a KK, who asked about Iota and what I thought about Iota. Iota is actually a crypto I used to own back before I was making videos. I don't own it anymore. I owned it when it was about $3.20 and sold it around $4, something like that. So Iota for Internet of Things. Iota is a top 20 crypto. Has over 1 billion tokens. And if you don't know what Internet of Things is, it's going to be the internet pretty much connected to anything with electronics in it that can be given commands through your phone or through voice commands over your phone. Supposedly it is the technology of the future where everything will be connected to the internet, your car, your phone, your alarm system. So you can set these things, regulate temperatures, your thermostat in your house, set your alarm. A lot of these things you can do already, but they're going to be done automatically. They're going to order groceries for you, turn on your dishwasher, pretty much anything and everything that you want to do with it will be done automatically if you just have it set that way, and your devices will be able to communicate with each other as well. So everybody says that is the tech of the future, and a lot of people are excited about Iota, especially when it first came out, because it had a backing and I think a partnership with IBM, and that was the reason I initially got into it. Now Iota is a little bit different. They don't use a blockchain. They use something called a tangle, which supposedly is going to give them faster and cheaper transaction times and speeds, because the commands don't have to go step by step through a blockchain. They go through and connect to the closest person who is on the tangle to relay the information, so that way the information can be transferred quicker. So basically that's Iota in a nutshell. It's about $1 right now. It's been as high as I think $5.50, right around there somewhere. So that's pretty much the good of Iota and what Iota does. I believe that, let me give you the bad on Iota as well. The biggest problem with Iota is they've had problems with the tangle. They've also had problems with security. Those are, to me, are two big no-nos. A lot of times people have sent transactions and the transactions don't show up. They go to buy or sell or send Iota tokens and they don't arrive. They never show up. So that alone would be enough to scare me away from Iota, just to be honest with you. Plus they haven't worked out all the problems with the tangle working properly. Then I did a little more snooping and investigating on Iota, since I haven't really looked into it much since I sold it, and I heard that they were having problems with the tangle probably about 8 or 10 months ago. I heard that, so I kind of just stopped following it. And I thought maybe they had fixed their problems. I wasn't sure. So turns out they still have the problems, with the tangle. They have not been resolved. And they still have not resolved the issue with the missing tokens, which to me, that is enough to keep me off of Iota, at least for now. Because how secure how would you feel if you put $1,000 into Iota, or you were sending somebody $1,000 or $5,000 worth of Iota, and they never got it? That's just like losing your wallet full of money, or having taken a bunch of money out of the bank and just leaving it on a park bench and walking away and hoping it's there when you come back. Now, this isn't something that happens the majority of the time, but just the fact that it can happen, would be enough to frighten me. I mean, I know whenever I still, to this day, whenever I buy and sell and transfer Bitcoin to other exchanges to make trades, I still get anxious to make sure that it's arrived there, because sometimes it takes a little bit longer than I was hoping for, and they don't have a record of receiving it yet or any processing taking place, and then after a while it does show up processing part 1 of whatever 4 or step 1 of 2 or however the exchange does it. So it hasn't let me down yet, but it's still, just because blockchain is still a new thing to me. I'm still old school, used to using banks. I'm not a young kid here who's just, accepts it and, I'm used to having money in hand and sending it and handing it to somebody or giving somebody a check and that type of thing. So, but I'm getting more comfortable with it now. But the whole idea with Iota of it not possibly showing up would scare the hell out of me, to be honest with you. I know it's not something that happens all the time or even a majority of the time, but just knowing that it can happen would, there's too many other cryptos out there that are reliable, that are on the blockchain, that don't have this type of an issue. All right, so that's first knock on Iota. Second one is they don't have their Tangle worked out yet. Now, if they do get the Tangle figured out and it is something up and running and reliable and working, then it should have fast times and practically free transaction speeds. But the problem is the Lightning Network is getting nearer to completion every day as well. And the Lightning Network is going to work similar to the Tangle. It's going to be a type of thing where the more people that use it, the faster it gets and the cheaper it gets, because it will be, instead of sending transactions to break blocks that are, at a certain hub, it'll pick ones that are closest to you and break them, so it will be faster, and it will be, I think they said, about 0.5 cent a transaction or something like that, which isn't much. Of course, things do always eventually progress to the fastest, cheapest way, so if Iota can do it for free, then eventually, maybe if they're still in business, Iota can, get back into the swing of things. But by that time, they might be gone. I'll be honest with you. If they don't figure out their Tangle in the next, I would say in the next year to 2 years. I don't know how much. I did look into how much money they have backing them. But I'll be honest with you, right now at this point, I really don't see why it's even a top 20 token. To be honest with you, I would not be investing in Iota right now, especially you've also got Ethereum Classic, which is working on the Internet of Things. I just did a video on that maybe a week and a half ago or so. I think they're getting their Internet of Things is going to be up and running on November 30th. So they're already going to be in the ball game, and Iota is still not done with their technology. I just think that Iota is going to have some problems still, and until they get their problems worked out. Another thing I didn't like, I was watching a video where somebody mentioned that Iota security isn't really good either. So it's easy for someone, if you're not careful who you're sending and what address you're sending from, and if you're on a local computer or a local phone, it's very easy to hack because it's not a blockchain. Their encryption isn't real good as far as sending money, and that could be where a lot of the tokens are going as well. Maybe they're not just having problems with the Tangle, maybe they're just being hacked into by people who can duplicate your script on your token, and you think that you're sending it, and you're really just sending it to a duplicate script that somebody hacked and hijacked, and you're sending it to them. They reroute it. So I don't know, I'm not really feeling Iota right now. They've got too many problems to work out, and there's not a lot of competition in the Internet of Things, IoT is some that's coming on board, and you've got, like I said, Ethereum Classic, which is one of my crushers for the month starting. I think you can get in there before the start of November. I think in November we're going to see it start to go up. So that would be my pick over IoT. And I know a lot, instead of Iota, I know a lot of people like to get into these cheap cryptos because they can buy a whole bunch of them, and if it goes up, you're going to make a lot of money. But you got to think of the other things, especially these tokens that are a penny or less than a penny or a couple of cents. When you buy in, you got to think about where you're going to buy out, because say you buy something for a penny, all right, and it goes up to 2 pennies. You doubled your money. You're happy. Now you want to sell. But the sell price, you might not be able to get the 2 pennies for it when you put it in to sell. You might have to put it in at, a penny and a half. So you're really not, when it's such a small margin, not percentage-wise, but dollar-wise, even though it may be up, because you're selling, it may first of all bring the price down. If there's other orders in there to sell, it may force you to put in your offer to sell actually at lower prices than what you think you're actually making, especially when you get into tokens that are less than a penny. You've got to know what Bitcoin is trading at, if it's fluctuating much, because that's going to affect your gains. It's difficult to tell, because the market does still fluctuate, especially with the price of Bitcoin, the price of what you're trying to buy, what you're trying to sell, to really make profit, unless you've really got a crap load of it and it's up more than just a double. It's got to be almost like a 3x before you can positively say that, yeah, I made some good money on this. And just be aware of that, because when you buy these cheap tokens, it's just there's not enough room to shave a one 1/50th of a Bitcoin to put in and sell at that price to make your profit. It's just not easy to do, especially if the price of Bitcoin now is fluctuating. What if it goes down or goes up? Are you making money now, or are you losing money now? Are you just breaking even when you thought that you doubled your money? So that's one thing to be careful of, and that's why I don't like to mess too much with cryptos that are under, even like 10 cents would probably be the 5 to 10 cents. Even that, 10 cents is probably around the cheapest I would like to go. I go a little bit lower if I think it's a really good project that has really good potential. But Ethereum Classic, if they can work out their tangle, and if they're still in business, maybe then I would hold off on it, unless you're already in it and you just want to hold it for the long term and take a chance and see what happens. But as of now, I would personally not be going into Iota. I would just be kind of waiting to see if it can work out its problems. But I think its problems might be too big, and I think the competition might take over before they actually work it out. I think once the technology starts to move, it's going to move quickly, especially when other companies do have their technology in place. So anyway, guys, I'm getting here at 14 minutes. I only have 15-minute videos, so please give me thumbs up, like, and subscribe so I can make longer videos. I'm only allowed 15 minutes on YouTube until I get more subscribers. So please subscribe, like, share it, and tell your friends to like it as well. Kiss your wife, girlfriend, hug your kids, your friends, pet your dog, your cat. God bless. Joe Knows Crypto signing off. Bye now.